DrGliddenshow.tv is where you want to go to check out the live video stream and join in the worldwide live chat. Also, remember, if you are listening to me on a terrestrial radio station, then you want to pay attention to the commercial breaks and call the station's longevity number. Call the number that the station gives out during their commercial breaks for information about longevity. We exist as a worldwide network of independent distributors, each with their own business, each with their own group of people whom they are serving. And we need to have integrity across the network lines. So, if you like the message that I'm delivering here and you're listening on terrestrial radio, then give the radio station's longevity number a call. And the good people there will hold your hand, walk you through how to order longevity products and or how to become a longevity distributor. By the way, those two things are mutually exclusive. You do not have to become a longevity distributor to enjoy the products. Most people who enjoy the products ultimately do become longevity distributors because they feel so good, they start telling everybody in their world about it, and then one day they'll wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning and say, hey, you know what? I'm telling everybody I know about this stuff anyway. I might as well get paid to do it. So that's kind of how it goes. Now, if you were directed to this radio station or to this internet broadcast or to this YouTube broadcast by a friend or, someone in your life directed you here and you like what we're talking about, then get with them in order to get information about how to join longevity, how to enjoy the benefits of becoming a wholesale customer of longevity and or a longevity distributor. And if you found me all by yourself, if you were trolling the internet, if you saw one of my YouTube videos, if I just popped out of the blue, if you were strolling in the park and the voice of God came out of a cloud and said, DrGliddenshow.tv, if that's how you found me, and you're interested in what I'm talking about, 855-347-3696 is the number to call. 855-347-3696 is the number to call. Mary in the chat room on the live video stream says, I just heard of a friend's niece at age 26 now has breast cancer. It so depresses me. This is like the fourth or fifth woman in the last couple of months I've heard of, and no one will listen to me. Even though I tell them, look, I know a doctor who says you don't have to suffer with that. And by the way, if you want to see some startling statistics, go to the website of Cancer Treatment Centers of America. Cancer Treatment Centers of America, right? They are supposed to be the, most progressive cancer treatment centers around. They're the only cancer treatment centers that I'm aware of that employ naturopathic physicians. They actually have naturopathic doctors working in the cancer wards. However, the naturopathic doctors that work there are not delivering primary care cancer treatment, naturopathic cancer treatment. They're delivering cleanup for chemo and radiation so the patients can have more chemo and radiation, which ultimately is ineffective. And if you want to see a startling statistic, I can't believe that these guys publish this. I can't believe that they publish this. But it's online. You can go and you can see their outcomes. You can see the outcomes, right, of all the people they've treated for breast cancer, how many are still alive after 1 year, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. Now, keep in mind, they don't go beyond 5 years. They don't give you the statistics for how many of their patients that had breast cancer or ovarian cancer or leukemia are still alive after year 5, because if they kept those statistics, they would be dismal and nobody would go to see them. And this is what the American Cancer Society manipulated about 10 years ago. They stopped using the word cure because their results were so unbelievably piss poor. They started using this concept of 5-year survivability, so that if you have cancer and you survive for 5 years, whatever therapy you did is considered a success, even though you die from cancer on year 6. But even inside of the statistics that they keep, the results are abysmal, right? Like 10%, 8% live or still alive on the 5th year, right? $100,000 of unbelievably mind-altering, mind-bending, personality-changing, toxic treatment that's going to give you, 6 more months of life? But people flock to them. People flock to them. And again, I just don't understand this. I don't understand why people would flock to an organization that produces unbelievably poor results like this. But remember, when all of the cancer treatment centers all around the world produce unbelievably poor results, and that becomes the norm. We've gotten, hypnotized by medical mediocrity. Don't believe me? Suicide tourism to Switzerland doubles in 4 years. This from Medscape Multispecialty, Medscape Medical News, Medscape.com, written by Megan Brooks, August 21st, 2014, very recent. The number of people traveling to Switzerland to commit suicide has doubled since 2009. These suicide tourists are largely from Germany and the UK, although they come from other countries, including the US and Canada, and nearly half suffer from non-fatal neurological conditions such as ALS, paralysis, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis. Assisted suicide is restricted in many countries, but in Switzerland it is not clearly regulated by law, leading to an influx of people coming to the country, mainly to the canton of Zurich, for the sole purpose of ending their lives. Swiss medicological experts are confronted with cases almost daily, which prompted our scientific investigation of the phenomenon. The research searched the databases of the Institute of Legal Medicine in Zurich on assisted suicide and found that 611 non-Swiss residents had been helped to die in the 4 years between 2008 and 2012. Neurological diseases were the reason for assisted suicide in nearly half of the cases, followed by cancer, 37%, rheumatic diseases, 24%, heart disease, 15%, and mental disorders, 3.4%. These results imply that the non-fatal diseases that are not yet end stage are more often becoming the reason for seeking assisted suicide, right? So, the article just goes on to say that, this is the deal and these are the statistics and isn't that interesting? And the implication here is that, these people must be nuts, right? I mean, these people must be nuts to want to try to end their lives when they're missing something that's glaringly apparent and obvious. This spike in the number of people wanting to end their lives, why do they want to end their lives? Because conventional medical therapeutics have failed them. They've failed them. They've failed them. Conventional medicine has failed them. They spend their whole life giving medical insurance premiums, right? In Canada, they take it right out of your paycheck. In the United Kingdom, they take it right out of your paycheck. I don't know what happens in Germany, or other European Union countries, right? In the U.S. now, it's mandatory. You have to pay for medical insurance. So you pay, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $1,000 a month your entire life just for the privilege of gaining access to the MDs once you're sick, and then you do get sick, and then the MDs have nothing for you. I'd shoot myself, too, if I didn't know me. But this is a testament to the failure of conventional medicine. But the conventional medical doctors will never look at it that way because they're enrolled in their own madness. Their hubris is legendary, and they will never, ever, 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 ever hold the mirror up and pull the speck out of their eye before they try to pull the log out of their brothers. They just won't do it. Because, the whole educational meme is that if I was not taught it in medical school, it is not valid. If I was not taught it in medical school, it is not valid. If I was not taught it in medical school, it is not valid. Buzz, click, buzz, click, buzz, click. Even though my therapeutics are the leading cause of death, even though my therapeutics are the leading cause of bankruptcy, even though my therapeutics have completely failed, I will continue to deliver these therapeutics. Buzz, click, buzz, click. My programming is precise. My programming is correct. I am the medical deity. Everyone should listen to what I have to say. I am the God of medicine. I am the God of medicine. I am the God of medicine. And that's how they think. I mean, Rains was the perfect example, right? One of our first callers today. You got a knee replacement surgery and it failed. He had to get the same knee surgeried again, and he didn't get a refund. Now other joints in his body are starting to fail, and why is this? Because the arthritic joint is not the disease. It's the result of the disease. The tumor is not the disease. It is the result of the disease. The degenerated neuron is not the disease. It is the result of the disease. In the case of Lou Gehrig's disease, a.k.a. amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. But, you know, how the robot MD thinks is how the robot MD thinks. And their programming will never change. And it's the programming that's wrong. It's the software that's wrong. And they're never going to question it. Because, you know, they're beyond reproach. And because they're the king. It's good to be king. And when you're in the medical monopoly, when you're in the driver's seat, you look down your nose at all those other doctors. Oh, you don't even deserve to call yourself doctor. You know how many people have told me that in my life? Too many to count. Meanwhile, in point of fact, we are the only ones delivering therapeutics that actually work. We're the only ones doing it. Holistic physicians around the world are the only physicians delivering therapeutics which produce results. We're the only ones that produce curative results. We're the only ones doing it. And, you know, we're relegated to the back of the bus. Sometimes we're even thrown off the bus. You can't practice naturopathic medicine in 36 states in the United States right now. You can't do it. It's illegal. 35. And, you know, nobody rises up. There's a law which prevents testimonies. You can't give a testimony of a cure of a condition. You can't. If you were to have amyotrophic lateral sclerosis and you were to drink extract of seaweed, and you had no more amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, it was gone. You couldn't put up a website and say that. The Food and Drug Administration would throw you in jail. You think that's right? It's bad, folks. It's super bad. Brought to you by Big Pharma. You mad yet? If you're not, you're simply not paying attention. Dun, 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 dun. I know that's the Bonanza soundtrack, but, you know, I like to think of it as the cavalry coming over the hill, right? That's how I picture Longevity Nation. Someone from the chat room had a quick question. I think it's important to share this one. Dr. G, do some people go through a healing crisis while taking medical nutrition with longevity? I think I'm going through that. Old symptoms are coming back. Is that part of the healing process? Well, the healing crisis is a misnomer. Rarely is a healing crisis actually present. You know, a healing crisis is when you get really super sick, your body spikes a strong fever, or, you know, you become afflicted with strong and persistent, overwhelming symptoms that weren't present before you started the treatment. And it's rare that that happens. It'll happen. It's often associated with something called a Herxheimer reaction, which is a massive die-off of nasty bugs that have been inhabiting the body, and then, you know, your immune system rallies with medical nutrition. They all die at once, and it overwhelms your body's ability to eliminate them. So you develop kind of like a toxic shock syndrome for a little while until your body cleans out the mess. It really shouldn't be called a healing crisis. It should be called a Herxheimer reaction. Something that does happen frequently, however, is called Herring's Law of Cure. And Herring's Law of Cure is the interesting observation that when people get on board with a healing therapeutic, whatever it is, whether it's acupuncture or homeopathy or medical nutrition or Ayurveda, chiropractic adjustment even can do it. When people are really experience an effective, holistic health recovery strategy, right? One of the things that can happen is as the body recovers its health, old suppressed symptoms, which have been dormant in the human body, will rise to the surface, express themselves for a day or two, and then disappear. This is called Herring's Law of Cure. And the progression of these illnesses, the return of an old symptom, it's referred to in homeopathic parlance as the return of an old symptom. This happens in reverse chronological order from the most recent symptom, which was suppressed, going back in time to symptoms from long ago. And also the body tends to fix itself from the inside to the outside and from the top to the bottom, right? So if you had eczema on your feet when you were 2 years old and your medical doctor treated it with prednisone or cortisone or coal tar plasters, which they were wont to do, still are, that treatment effectively suppresses the condition. It does not cure the condition. It suppresses the condition, and the condition remains dormant inside the body. And so now, you know, you're 30 years old and you've got asthma and migraine headaches and arthritis or whatever, and you go to an Ayurvedic practitioner or homeopath, or you come and see us, you get on board with a program that actually works. Well, guess what? The asthma resolves, the migraine headaches resolve, the joints rebuild themselves and get strong, and then 2-3 months later, all of a sudden the eczema on the feet pops back up and you'd forgotten that you even had it. That's how the body heals itself. It's called Herring's Law of Cure. It's from top to the bottom, from the inside to the outside, and from the most recent symptoms in time which were suppressed, rolling back through time to old symptoms, you know, often from infancy. It's called Herring's Law of Cure. Now, the hallmark of Herring's Law of Cure is that the symptom, the old chronological symptom, shows up out of nowhere. It's like a thief in the night. It shows up out of nowhere, expresses itself, and then leaves, just as mysteriously as it came. So, oftentimes, all that we need to do is just maintain the discipline with the medical nutrition, maintain the discipline with the diet, and the old symptom will disappear. Rarely, you know, a small percentage of the time, and I'd be making numbers up if I gave you a number, but rarely the return of an old symptom will show up and will stick around. It doesn't go away spontaneously. And if that happens, we just need to add more stuff appropriately, right, in order to support and promote healthy skin or healthy joints or healthy livers or whatever, wherever the illness has expressed itself. But oftentimes it will just go away all by itself. It's part of the body's unwinding of itself, so to speak. Really fascinating concept. If you want to learn more, get my book. I wrote an entire chapter about this because it's an extremely important thing to understand. My book, of course, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes. You can download it to your iPad, download it to your Kindle for $10 right now. If you want a softback copy, we'll mail it to you. Go to drglidden.com, check out the store, drglidden.com, click on the store button, and buy my book. Read all about Herring's Law of Cure. Marilyn from Wyoming is up next when we come back. A little bit of longevity. Yeah. I gotta make up lyrics for that. What do you think? A little beyond tangy every day. Let's go to Marilyn in Wyoming and see what she thinks of my musical career. Hey, Marilyn, thanks for the call. You are live.
Yeah, I think you rock.
Hey, so what you're saying is when I record an audio CD, you know, you're going to buy it, right?
That's it.
Hey, listen, one of my favorite states, by the way, Wyoming. What part of Wyoming are you living in?
Northeast, Gillette.
Oh, yeah. How do you like it?
It's different. I've come from Southern California, but it's okay. It's nice. It's got pros and cons, as do all areas, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do. We like it.
Yeah, all right. Well, good. Good for you. How was your winter last winter?
It was like below zero most of the time, like 30 below, 50 below. It was cold.
Wow, I thought it was bad here in the Midwest. 50 below? Holy moly macaroni. So what do you do? Go outside and shoot a caribou or something? You must, right?
For sure.
All right, enough fooling around, Marilyn. How can I help? Thanks for the call.
All right, thank you for taking my call. My mother has an acquaintance with a disease called complex regional pain syndrome, CRIPS.
Yeah.
And
it's similar to reflex sympathetic dystrophy, yeah.
Right, that's what I researched. It was the name formally. And I was wondering, maybe she wants to, before she approaches him, do you think that'll be effective, any protocol that would be effective for him?
Well, I want you to buy my book because in my book, one of my most remarkable cures, I can say that word because this was in a private practice. I treated a little girl with reflex sympathetic dystrophy. She'd had it for a number of years. She was 9 years old. She'd had it for 3 or 4 years. It was a special case. She was treated at Children's Hospital in Boston for years. They couldn't do anything for her. She was treated by a team of doctors every time she went. For 3 years, she was getting progressively worse. Her parents brought her to me, and I gave her a homeopathic treatment that completely eliminated all of the symptoms. In 72 hours, they were gone. And they've remained gone for 25 years. It was the most remarkable clinical resolution of symptoms I'd ever seen before I met Dr. Wallach. So I have direct personal experience of a positive outcome with reflex sympathetic dystrophy, and I have medical witnesses to prove it. By the way, about a month after the cure of this condition, her parents went back to Children's Hospital because they had a regular monthly visit, right? And they were so very excited. They wanted, to show the doctors, that she'd recovered from it. And, maybe they could, start a trend, right? Redirect the research, right? And so the doctors, of course, all of whom had been treating this girl for years, right? All the same doctors had been seeing this girl for 3 years. There was a team, I think, 10, 11, or 12 of these doctors. And so she walks into the room. They do the exam. She's completely symptom-free. They're dumbfounded. It's like a miracle. I mean, no kidding. Uh-huh. And so they asked the mother, well, what did you do? And she said, well, I took her to a naturopathic doctor. He gave her a homeopathic treatment. And 11 of the 12 doctors got up and left the room. They didn't want to know what it was. There was only one doctor. He was a guy from Israel. He was doing a rotation in the U.S., and not even he called me, but at least he wanted to know what the name of the homeopathic medicine was that I used. But none of the specialists in reflex sympathetic dystrophy who, with their own eyes, witnessed the cure, none of them called me. None of them had the professional decency or the integrity or the courage to step outside of their box because they don't give a damn about a cure. One more reason to fire your medical doctors. God is my witness, the worst place you can go if you're suffering with reflex sympathetic dystrophy is a medical doctor's office. Don't go there. Go anywhere else but the MD. Go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, a homeopath, an herbalist. Come to see me first. But avoid conventional medicine because they have nothing for you but intellectual cowardice before the fact. They should be ashamed of themselves. Quite frankly, I hope they all get reflex sympathetic dystrophy. I hope they all do and suffer from it the way that millions of unsuspecting people do. Now, having said that, the treatment that I used for this girl was a homeopathic treatment. And the deal with homeopathy is we don't have, there's no one homeopathic treatment for anything because homeopathy isn't prescribed based on the diagnosis. Homeopathy is prescribed based on the way that the symptoms are presenting. So, for instance, I could have quintuplets, 5 identical brothers who have exactly the same genetics. They grow up in exactly the same house. They eat all exactly the same food, and they're exposed to exactly the same stress. They could each develop, influenza or reflex sympathetic dystrophy or whooping cough or pneumonia. And they each give it one to the other, right? So they have the same bug in their bodies. They have the same genes. They're identical. And with homeopathic treatment, it is entirely possible that they would each need a different homeopathic medicine to recover their health because homeopathy is not based on the diagnosis. It's based on the presentation of the symptoms. So historically, there are probably 10 or 15 homeopathic medicines which have been effective in helping people with reflex sympathetic dystrophy. It becomes the homeopathic practitioner's job to figure out which one of those to use. Now, so that's the long-winded way of saying there is no generic homeopathic recommendation for reflex sympathetic dystrophy. There isn't. However, what we talk about here in the context of this program are, in fact, science-based, clinically verified, boilerplate, foundation medical nutrition strategies for the masses. So there is something that he should start to do right now, immediately, which most probably will, affect some type of a positive outcome in his body-mind quickly. So for 3 months, I would follow this program, and then if, he gets stuck somewhere or he's, 20% better or only 80% better and he wants to push it forward 3 months from now, he can call me and schedule a private appointment. But for the first 3 months, the recommendation would be 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, 1 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, 2 bottles of selenium, 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals, 1 bottle of plant-derived minerals per 100 pounds of body weight per month. All right. Now, in addition to that, I would give 1 bottle of Cal Toddy a month and 4 bottles of Z-Radical a month, money allowing. And that's what I would do, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods.
Right. Now, the liquid Healthy Start Pack, you want 2 of that, because he's about 180.
Yeah, so give him the 200-pound dose. So give him 2 of those. Give him 4 bottles of selenium, 2 bottles of plant-derived minerals, 1 bottle of Cal Toddy, and 4 bottles of Z-Radical.
Okay.
Yeah, plus eliminate the 10 bad foods. If he doesn't switch out the diet, he might as well just shoot himself right now. Go to Switzerland and do doctor-assisted suicide, because unless he changes the diet, this strategy, in my clinical experience, has very little chance of succeeding.
Okay.
He has to eliminate the 10 bad foods. And, on my website for free, you can go to my website, give me your email, right, and I send you links for free to the videos that I did that explain why these 10 foods are bad. And so if people watch my presentation about why they shouldn't eat these 10 bad foods, they're more likely to not eat them than just you telling them not to eat them. That makes sense, right?
Right.
And that's why I did that, and that's why I give it away for free, because, people need to know this. And if people think I'm selling it, they're not going to believe that it's valid. They're just going to think I'm trying to make money, and it's just a weird psychological thing. So we give it away. We give it away.
Right. Education. Great.
Yeah, and get the book. Have him just get the book and read it, because that chapter alone on my experience with the reflex sympathetic dystrophy kid should give him, encouragement.
This is the MD Emperor has no clothes.
The MD Emperor has no clothes. Yeah, so far it's the only book I've written, although I am in the process of another, so stay tuned.
Good for you. Great.
Yeah, it's going to be. It's been the working title of my second book is Why I Never Became a Singer.
I was going to say that's good. That's a good one.
Hey, Marilyn, you're the greatest. Keep up the good work in the great state of Wyoming. God only knows you are the last best hope your community has for living a long, healthy, and, dare I say it out loud, wealthy life. North Carolina's next. Jason in North Kakalaki. Good afternoon, Mr. Jason. How is everything in the old South?
Oh, everything's great. Hey, Dr. Glidden, I just wanted to. I'm a type 2 diabetic.
Yeah.
And I weigh about 340, 350.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find out what would be a good product for like diabetic ulcers and like my legs from the knee down.
Yeah.
I have to wear compression stockings.
Yeah.
Because my legs swells. My legs, both of them swell.
Yeah.
And I have numbness, extreme numbness from my knees down to my feet.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, man. How old are you?
44.
Yeah. Well, look, so this is the deal, right? So now, the bad news is that this has happened to you. The good news, while you've been under the care of the MDs, right? I mean, while you've been listening to them, your health has gone to hell in a handbasket, man. I mean, it's not your fault. Even though they'll tell you have the type 2 diabetes gene, or you're just too damn lazy, that's why you're overweight, or whatever, and they're wrong. They're wrong. So, I would posit the notion that the weight gain and the type 2 diabetes are both arms of the same octopus. Even though the medical doctor will tell you that the diabetes is caused by the weight, they're wrong. The diabetes is not caused by the extra weight, nor vice versa. they're both caused by one thing that the MD completely overlooks. And we believe that the generative cause of both, weight gain, whether it's a little bit of weight gain or a lot of bit of weight gain, and blood sugar abnormalities like metabolic syndrome, syndrome X, insulin resistance syndrome, type 2 diabetes, they're all caused by mineral deficiencies. They're all caused by mineral deficiencies, and they're showing up in different parts of your body. Now, as your blood sugar is like too high, too long, it's going to start to have net negative ripple effects in other parts of your body, like the skin. So you're going to develop diabetic ulcers that aren't going to be able to heal, not because of any other reason than, well, your blood sugar levels are too high, and that's what happens when your blood sugar levels are too high. So even the therapeutics that they're generating for you are not able to manage the blood sugar levels appropriately. So your skin is now starting to deteriorate, and now, you've got the elephant legs, and what the hell? So, man, right? I know, it's nuts. Why we put up with this stuff as a culture is beyond me. I'm glad that you called, Jason. This is a hard break, man. Stick around. I'll bring you up right after these commercials and dial it in for you. So very glad that you found me this day. Ladies and gentlemen, this is as real as it gets. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Fire your engines now. Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching the live stream, you can see that Mr. Spock has joined me for the last segment here. Live long and prosper. Going to finish it up with Jason in North Carolina. Drew, regretfully, I will not be able to get to you today. Give me a call back tomorrow. I appreciate your support very much. All right, Jason, are you still with me?
Yes.
All right. So look, number one, you have to eliminate the 10 bad foods, and you can get that list for free on my website, drglidden.com.
Okay.
And you go to that website, on the right-hand column, there's a little box that says, give us your email address, sign up for Dr. Glidden's free newsletter, and then we'll send you a list of the 10 bad foods, plus a video which explains why it's all free. So you need to eliminate these foods.
Okay.
Because these foods will interfere with the tissues in your body that absorb things. And so, what we need to do here is to give your body an abundance of the minerals and the vitamins and the raw materials that it needs to have healthy blood sugar production, healthy skin, healthy everything, right? And so if you haven't eliminated the foods and you're taking the supplements, you may be taking, 100% of what you need, but you may only be absorbing 20% of it, and you're pooping the rest out. And then we're out of luck, right? So I can't stress enough the importance of the elimination of the 10 bad foods. And that's free, right? I mean, that doesn't cost anything. You just stop eating these foods, and it's like that. There is a little bit of a learning curve there. But if you go to Facebook, there are a lot of different longevity groups on Facebook. Check mine out, Dr. Glidden on Facebook. There's lots of support that can tell you how to kind of, what the heck am I going to have for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And there's tons of support on Facebook. Tons of support in my Insider subscription as well. Tons of support in my Insider forum. So avail yourself of the community, lean on the community, and make it work. All right. So number one, we eliminate the 10 bad foods. Number two, give me your body weight once more.
That's like 340 or 350. I'm not sure.
All right, so I would encourage you, even if it's just for a month, just for $20, to go to my website and become an insider, drglidden.com, because I have over 200 hours of archived health webinars there. I did a webinar on obesity. I explain why. I did a webinar on type 2 diabetes, and I explained why these things happen from our point of view.
I am a member, by the way.
Oh, you're already there. All right, never mind.
I couldn't. Well, I'd accessed the webinars, and on the blood sugar webinars, I couldn't really find out too much information on like diabetic complications as far as like. Oh,
that's a good point. Okay, so I'm glad you said that. So the complications, from our point of view, will go away once the blood sugars normalize, because that's the only reason that they're there is because of the high blood sugars, and actually it's the high levels of insulin.
So the nerves do repair themselves?
Yes, you betcha. You betcha. Now, there is a point beyond which the body can't fix it. There is, but I I would be very surprised if you've reached that point. Now, I don't want to give you false hope, but the holistic understanding here is the diabetic neuropathy and the ulcers and the swelling in the legs. These are all related either to funky blood sugar levels, funky insulin levels, or just chronic undernutrification of the body. So we anticipate those to roll out with the tide as the body optimizes its structure and function. There's usually nothing extra that we need to do there. So, the recommendation for you would be one Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid per 100 pounds of body weight per month, so you need 3 of those. 3 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid, 3 of those a month. 3 bottles of Ultimate Sweet Ease, or 3 bottles of Sweet Ease. 4 bottles of Ultimate Selenium a month, 4 Ultimate Selenium, 3 Sweeties, and 3 Healthy Body Start Pack 2.0 liquid packs per month. That's it. Eliminate the 10 bad foods. Now, for the swelling in the legs, not a bad idea to add 2 bottles of the Ultimate Enzymes. 2 bottles of the Ultimate Enzymes.
Okay.
Take 2 enzymes before each meal. 2 bottles of the plant-derived minerals. Do 1 ounce of the plant-derived minerals twice a day. 1 ounce of the plant-derived minerals twice a day. Salt your food so that it tastes good. Don't be afraid of salt. And have protein be 50% of everything that you eat from now on. Protein be 50% of everything that you eat from now on. We are out of time, Jason. Call me back if you need to tomorrow, folks. God willing and the creek don't rise. See you tomorrow. Until then, live long and prosper.